Right, okay, so here we have the FTX Outback Tundra 2. This is the version 2 of the Outback series, which I'm led to believe is meant to be slightly better than the original one. I think they have a slightly wider wheelbase, where the shock absorbers mount is slightly different as well. I'm not too sure exactly on the specifics, but you know, they're just a few things that obviously I've noticed from the older model. Initially bought this as something that I was just going to try out. And the one thing I can't knock on this truck is the quality for money. You know, it's a fairly scaled truck. You know, you've got nice big tyres, you know, front and rear drive shafts that are, you know, the diffs are locked at the front and rear axles. You know, ladder frame chassis, and it, you know, for the money, it seems to be built really well. Obviously, being an FTX, there are a few delicate points on there. The drive shaft seems to be one of the issues with this. If you take a bit of a hard knock on one of the wheels, the drive shafts just snap off at the end of the axles. Where they put the pin in for the hex nut, obviously where they drill through the drive shaft, it's just the metal either side of that pole is just not thick enough. So obviously if you do take quite a hard knock, they do break. Not too bad though, because the drive shafts aren't exactly expensive, and you can get them in a set of two anyway. And the parts obviously are quite readily available for this truck anyway. So, as I say, decent little truck. You know, it's got decent tyres on it when it, you know, first get it out the box. For stock tyres, they're actually quite good. They've got quite a soft compound, so they're quite good for kind of, you know, mudding and crawling and stuff. Obviously, you've got LEDs in the front bumper and in the rear, different colours. Obviously, you've got white at the front and red at the back. The body seems to be held, you know, it's quite a thick body, you know, it's not a really thin flimsy body on there, so that's quite good. Obviously the only thing I ever do is obviously trim around obviously the arches and stuff, just to give me a bit more clearance for the suspension. But let's have a look underneath it and underneath the body, and have a look at the chassis and stuff, and explore it a little bit further. Right, so here it is with the body off. ESC and receiver is in there. It's the FTX Lite combo one. It's got a waterproof servo. The ESC is meant to be waterproof. It does say it on the box in many different languages that the truck is waterproof. You know, obviously electronics and water, you've got to kind of assume that it's water resistant, although I have had this pretty much submerged and it's been okay. I haven't had any dramas with it. It's had a few little modifications that I've done to it since I've had it. I've moved the battery further forward to obviously give me more weight over the front axle, for obviously crawling up inclines and stuff. And I changed the servo horn on the front as well. I put an alley servo horn on that anyway. Not that there was any problem with the old one, just kind of wanted to bling it up a little bit. As I say, all filled shocks. You know, the springs aren't too bad on there, they're quite soft. The only thing that's quite annoying is, as you can see, when you push that all the way down, the mounting plate for the ESC actually hits the top of the servo. I mean, it's not too bad because you still get quite a lot of clearance there, and obviously if you do it side to side, you still get enough clearance on that front axle there. The motor on this one is bigger than the original. I think it's a 390 motor on this. And with the standard battery, I mean, again, this is all stock, like all the running gear and everything's all stock, the battery stock and everything. And the only reason I've kind of left it that way is because, I mean, this battery is only a 1500 mile battery. But I mean, I took it out the other day and it lasted me a good sort of 25 minutes on that one battery, and I was, you know, fairly throttle hard the whole way. You know, I wasn't really taking it easy, and it was just to kind of see how the battery, you know, fared, because, you know, most stock batteries are fairly underpowered, should I say. But, you know, they'll get you going and stuff. Obviously, you've got the lights in there, you know, the wiring in there for the lights and stuff. So have a flip it over. Right, so there's the underneath of the truck. Obviously, you've got the drive shafts there. The axles there. You've got the prop shafts in there, look, you know, the UJs there. These are plastic. The UJs are actually metal. Inside the drive shafts, I've taken these apart and waterproof these and greased them on the inside. They are metal gears inside, but when you get this from the box, there's no grease in any of it. You know, this is all dry. It's got metal roller bearings as well, which is quite nice. And again, I mean, it's a nice truck for the money. I mean, I think I paid 140 quid for this truck. and for the money right out the box, you're getting a fairly high quality, you know, truck. You know, again, the only thing that lets it down is it is a bit fragile, but I mean, a lot of the FTX stuff is like that. It's just something that you've got to kind of take when you go and buy it, really. And other than that, I mean, it's built really well, and I'm really impressed with it. Obviously, we'll get some videos of it going out and getting covered in mud, and, you know, get it all over the rocks and stuff, and doing some crawling and whatever. But I just kind of wanted to show you guys, obviously, the initial, you know, the initial car and stuff and everything else. And, you know, I'm fairly impressed with it, to be fair. You know, I've had it out a couple of times. It's very, you know, really capable. There's not much that it kind of gets stuck with. And I think it is a really good truck to kind of start out with. And obviously you can upgrade it. You can upgrade the axles and everything else. And, you know, for the money, you just can't really knock it, to be fair. But we'll get some videos of it going out and getting covered in mud, and, you know, we'll give it a good run out somewhere, and hopefully we can put it through its paces and see how we get on. Right, thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.